Hey North Star families, how are you? I am Brian King, and I'm excited to let you know of a special announcement. It's an opportunity coming up with North Star. It will be a time of fellowship with other NSA families and doing ministry together. Are you curious yet? Well, it's an NSA mission trip to Japan. My husband and I have been missionaries in Japan now for 12 years, with the past 8 years serving with commission to every nation. My husband Adam's background is youth ministry and church leadership, while my background is Christian counseling and marriage and family therapy. Together we enjoy a relational-focused family ministry. We have 4 kids. Bailey's 17 and has attended Japanese school, followed by an international school for a few years, but most of our high school she's been taking classes through North Star and is getting ready to start her senior year. She loves studying languages and art. Shota's 17 and is getting ready to start his junior year at North Star. He loves almost any sport, but especially basketball. Riley's 13 and was in Japanese school for several years, and then homeschooled. Only recently has she started taking classes through North Star. She's our goofy personality and loves all things history, science, or animal related. Whitley's the youngest at 10, and don't let her quiet demeanor fool you. She's actually very talkative, but very shy at first. She loves monkeys, music, and playing with her siblings. So why Japan? Our personal story we can tell you on another date, but as far as the general reason for Japan is because the need is great. According to Joshua Project, less than 1% of the population in Japan is evangelical Christians. The Japanese people are one of the most unreached people groups in the world. A lot of people don't realize Japan is actually part of the 1040 window and a very unchurched population, so there is a huge need for missions in Japan. On an average of 2 years it takes Japanese of hearing about Christianity before they make a decision to accept Christ. We're located in the Kansai region of Japan. It's approximately 2.5 hours west of Tokyo by bullet train. Osaka City has about 1 million people, while the greater Osaka region has about 8 million, and the greater Kansai region has approximately 22 million people. We will be doing ministry throughout the entire Kansai area. This leads me into what our ministry focus is. That's a lot of people in one area, right? So you won't be surprised then to know that our ministry is people and relationally focused. We are about making intentional relationships with people in order to share and gain their trust to be able to share the gospel with them over time by being a daily testimony of God's love. We do this through sports ministries, events in our community, baking classes, loving on our neighbors, Bible studies, English class ministries, outreach events, etc. In addition to helping and partnering with other various ministries here in Japan, like helping with the homeless ministry, outreach camp events, and helping small and local Japanese churches. So if our ministry happens in the context of long-term intentional relationships, where does the mission team come in? Well, this mission team will be helping with various ministries to help deepen those intentional relationships I'm talking about. You will be supporting, encouraging, and coming alongside the long-term pastors, missionaries, and local Christians to help with events or activities to connect with and deepen those relationships. It will also be just as much about your own personal growth. We had a very successful mission team that came in March that helped with a sports outreach event, visited and played games at a local junior high, ran English outreach events for a new church plant, helped hand out food and items with homeless ministry, played basketball with Community League, ran a Sunday morning kids program, taught English at community center, helped lead a small Christian school chapel and fellowship time with the students there, cleaned a church, played with kids, etc. We have a variety of opportunities and connections that we can plan or partner with during the North Star mission team time. Once we know who's on the team, we'll discuss things further. I would like to get your feedback from the team members about your strengths and giftings to try to plan ministries that would best fit the team that's coming. I don't want to plan, say, an outreach sporting event if no one on the mission team plays sports. I would hate to plan an activity revolved around instruments if no one plays an instrument. So I want to figure out and get feedback from the team once we know who's coming on the best ministries that would fit the team. So what will the overall mission trip look like? Very quickly, I'll try to go over the details, and later we'll be having webinars or Skype sessions to answer specific questions and cover details more thoroughly. We are looking at a 10-day trip. It will include a variety of cultural meals and more westernized meals. We will have a balance of ministries along with sightseeing. Transportation will be planned out. You won't have to worry about that. Accommodations will be a large Airbnb sort of setup with everyone coming from all over and not knowing each other ahead of time. We will also be planning not only devotional times, but team building activities. There'll probably be a few things I'm forgetting, but that's what I have off the top of my head right now. You'll be flying into either Kansai International Airport, KIX, or Itami International Airport, ITM, which are both in Osaka. We will discuss the logistics of this more details later on once we know who's coming. The cost of the plane ticket will be different for every individual since you'll be paying to get yourself to Japan. There's some really good ticket prices out there right now, so if you buy them in advance, I've been seeing them as low as 700 or 800 flying out of Chicago, which is the area that I fly in and out of. But depending on where you're flying from, it could really vary. I would suggest planning on approximately 1,000. Hopefully you can get it less, but just a rough estimate, I would suggest $1,000 for plane tickets. The additional cost that you would pay to North Star is going to be $1,400, and this will cover all your transportation, accommodations, meals, sightseeing, ministry supplies, team shirt, everything while you're in Japan. The only thing that the $1,400 isn't covering would be any personal souvenirs. The cost of living in Japan is expensive, so I was going to suggest approximately $100 just to make sure you had enough to cover any souvenirs you might want to get to take back home. Any further questions or concerns, such as health and medical care, safety or crime during the time, natural disasters if it was to happen, what to bring, understanding culture and religion in Japan, we'll be discussing all that in much further detail. Specifically with the team members before they come. Again, we can correspond. I don't want to answer and go through a bunch of things now if not everyone is interested in it. So, a real quick side note. If you are a North Star family already living in Japan and are interested in meeting up with the team for a meal or a day or whatever, get in touch with me. Once we have our detailed schedule worked out for the North Star mission team, I can discuss with you details about meeting up, specific days, times, or stations we would be near or whatever, so that you could have time to connect with North Star. We could plan some sort of special activity or meal. So, okay, are you excited? I know I am. My kids are super excited to have you coming. If you have further questions, you can always email or message me through the North Star teams. We are super excited about this opportunity, are looking forward to meeting